must really be difficult to become the parents of Jesus. I'm getting some feedback. I'll try this other microphone. Hello. Ayan. Let's see if this would work without the feedback. It must have been very difficult to become the parents of Jesus. You see, during Christmas, we remember how difficult it is to find a place for the proper place of birth of Jesus. And they ended up seeing only a manger. And we know, I've explained it to some other place that particular time, we imagine that it was a peaceful time of giving birth because of what has been painted to us by the song Silent Night, Holy Night. It would be for another homily. There is an explanation why that song is beautiful, but not necessarily the one applicable to what happened during that night, because it was not silent. That during that time, the census was so busy, and the place then was so busy and chaotic and messy. So the least to be described is it's not silent. It was really chaotic and messy. And now imagine, if you are Joseph during that time, gusto mo na maayos man lang ang panganganak ni Maria na iyong asawa, hindi ka makahanap ng lugar kung saan tama siyang manganak. Worse, katabi pa niya ang mga hayop dahil wala na silang ibang makita na lugar na mapanganganakan ni Maria. How would Joseph feel about that? I kept on wondering, kasi absent wala sa scripture. We can only imagine it, but the scripture did not provide for us the emotional response, the emotional turmoil of Joseph. Anong mararamdaman niya? Iisipin ba niya na masyado naman akong irresponsableng ama? Sana naisip ko na to. Sana yung kakilala kong papunta sa Nazareth, napabook na namin yung hotel na titirhan namin, magiging kwarto namin. Hindi ko naisip yun. Doon ko na lang naisip pagdating na namin doon. Diba? Ngayon, uso sa atin, i-book mo nga ako dyan kasi baka mawala na kami ng spot, mga ganyan. Siyempre, hindi pa uso yun. So kahit naman lang, for sure, Joseph would have someone he knows who went there a bit earlier. And yet, I'm imagining, he was not able to find a place. Would he feel bad about it? No? Malulungkot ba siya? Mararamdaman ba niya na naging irresponsible ba akong tatay? Now, here's another challenge in our story. You see, all along, tapos na, na safe na sila, kasi nakabalik na sila, and then all of a sudden, the angel will appear to Joseph and would tell him, you have to leave and go to Egypt. Hindi lang sa neighboring place, hindi lang sa malapit na lugar. Ibang bansa talaga sila pupunta. And that again would create chaos in their lives, with the life of the Holy Family. May gulo na naman, Hindi fully nauunawaan ni Joseph. Can you imagine again, magsimula sila sa isang bagong buhay, this time somewhat permanently or a longer time. Hindi naman sinabi ng anghel, for the meantime, in this particular period, 3 years, 5 years, hindi sinabi ng anghel. Sinabi niya lang, you have to leave and go to Egypt. Of course, again, the emotional response of Joseph is not present sa nabasa natin sa scripture. But I can imagine the turmoil, the emotional chaos, na masyado siyang perhaps nabagabag. Anong mangyayari? Hindi kami handa. Sino ang titirhan namin doon sa Egypt? Sino ang kukup-kup sa amin? Isang bansa na hindi kami masyadong pamilyar. How would Joseph feel being the in charge of the family? Sobra sigurong mabigat. It's really quite difficult. And therefore, God understands, no? Na even in our family life, particularly if we're going through family life now that's quite chaotic, magulo na, buhay pamilya, mga na hindi magkasunduan ng mga magulang at mga anak, hindi magkasunduan ng mga mag-asawa, nauunawaan ng Diyos kung gaano kahirap ang isang buhay pamilya. Relationship would be difficult. But we will need to be curious. Paano naging intact sila? Paano na naging intact yung pamilya ni Joseph with Mary and Jesus? How they were able to survive a very different place, Egypt. You see, Egypt is known as a desert, no? So, sa disyerto, there is this imagination in the Jewish religion na naninirahan doon ang mga masasamang espiritu sa disyerto. Can you imagine that? Dadaan sila sa isang lugar, pupunta sila sa isang lugar na apparently ang daming mga masasamang elemento, masasamang espiritu. However, that will be understood during that time. So it's not a safe place too. Pero alam niya na it's a safer place than staying back home. So it's really difficult for him, for Joseph. And we probably have missed so much of his life kasi hindi na siya nabanggit. And we just assume in the context of the whole story na maaga siyang namatay. Because we heard more of Mary. And we elevate Mary to be someone who we can emulate the faith. And sometimes, nasa sidetrack na si Joseph. But you see, imagine that. Would he feel a failure? Mararamdaman ba niya na hindi siya naging mabuting ama? Na hindi siya naging mabuting asawa dahil hindi siya nakapag-provide ng maayos sa kanyang pamilya? We can only imagine that. We will never know. It's not present in the scripture. But what is present in the scripture and is very important, and it's not even deliberate. We can only read between the lines that Joseph trusted God more than himself. Na mas nagtiwala si Jose sa Diyos kaysa kanyang sarili. Because it's very illogical. No? Una, nung sinabi na yung arranged marriage niya magiging scandal kasi nabuntis yung asawa niya. Dapat iniwanan niya na. And yet, he stayed. Dapat sana inayos niya ng maayos yung pagpunta nila sa Bethlehem. Because that's the logical thing to do. But he trusted more of what God can do. And now here, sa kwento nila, sa buhay nila sa Ehipto, dapat sana nag-bargain siya sa Diyos. Lord, wag sa Ehipto. Masyado. Hindi kami pamilyar doon. Hindi ako pamilyar doon. It's not safe for us there too. Pero hindi. He trusted God more. You see, in our journey of seeking the Lord, of seeking His will, of continuing this journey of Christian life and faith, Joseph had shown us the true faith that we have to have faith more of God and His will and His word more than our will and our word. Because we do not understand everything. We cannot see the bigger picture. Hindi natin nakikita ang buong larawan. Konti lang, tuldok lang ang nakikita natin. And so, my brothers and sisters, let this be our invitation for all of us today. That as we celebrate the Holy Family and giving honor, particularly there is, of course, a place of honoring Mary and her faith. But today, I would like also and highlight honoring Joseph. Being the head of the family, he trusted God more. And whatever circumstances that we are going through right now, particularly in our family, and perhaps we feel na parang wala na tong solusyon, parang nag-give up na ako. Don't trust your words, brother or sister. Trust God. Trust His word. Listen to His word and be encouraged by it. Amen.